Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Namira Dinalutain from Math Education D, State University of Padang. Now I will explain my learning media about lines and angles. And this is the form login. In the form login there are name, class, and ID number. So students have to fill in the form login. Okay, I will start to fill in the form login first. Then we can click the sign in button. And then this is the main menu for media. In the main menu, there are instructions, learning objective, material, evaluation, and this is the profile and exit. Okay, I will start from the profile. This is the profile of developer, me, Emira Dinautain. Then the profile of lecturer, Mr. Frigo. Then we can go to the instruction. In the section is explain about the button that you use in the Macromedia. So student can use correctly. This is sign in button is for enter the main menu. This is the home button is for the to return the main menu. This is the profile button is for others by data, and then this is next button is for go to the next slide, and then this is the previous button is for go to the previous slide, and the last is exit button. We can close the Macromedia. Then we go to the learning objective. The basic competence of this material of this Macromedia is analyze relationship between angle as a result of the parallel lines cut by transversal line. Then complete the problem that associated with relationship between angle as a result of the parallel lines cut by transversal line. Then the learning objective is the learning objective are define the basic terms related to lines and angles. Recall the definition of different angles based on their measure. Classify different pairs of angles formed by two parallel lines that cut by transversal. And then we go to the material. I will folding up first. Okay, I will click the material button.
Before you learn about angles, pay attention to this story. In this section, you learn about basic terms that related to line and angles. Dad, look at the stars. They look like points. Yes, that's true. A point has been never known to have dimension. That is, a point has no length, breadth, or thickness. Even though it is represented as a dot, there is no specific way of representing the dot. Hence, point is an undefined term. A point can be denoted by capital letter. Can you spot the brighter one? Yes, and if we join them, it becomes a line. No, that would be a line segment. A line in this case has dimension, that is, its length extends in one dimension, but the thickness of the line cannot be determined nor the length. Hence, Line is also an undefined term. A line has no endpoint. A line segment is a part of line that has two distinct endpoints. Look, points P, S, and R all lie in one line. Yes, they are collinear points. If two or more than 2 points lie on a line close to or far from each other, then they are said to be collinear points. Dad, what about the ray? Is it the same as sound rays? Yes, a ray is a part of a line that has one endpoint and goes on infinitely in only one direction. A ray is named using its endpoint first and then any other point on the ray. Let's look at how light from the sun originates and travels. The light originates from the sun and its path extends infinitely, assuming there's nothing to block it. Why do we refer to the light from the sun as sun rays? Why not sun lines? After all, light does travel in a line. However, unlike a ray of light in space, a line has two endpoints. We call this a sun ray because it has only one endpoint and extends infinitely in one direction.
Okay, that is the illustration about basic terms, lines and angles. Uh, I make that. I hope that students can imagine about the line, angles, and rays. Then we can learn about the definition of angle. Angle is region that formed by two rays that has a common endpoint. Then we go to the next slide. Types of angles. There are six types of angles: complete angle, right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle, reflex angle. Then if we click the complete button, it will appear explanation about complete angle. A complete turn is equal to an angle of 360 degrees. It is called a complete angle. We can see that an angle of 360 degrees can coincide with an angle of 0 degrees. And this is the illustration of complete angle. Then we can click the straight angle. An angle measuring 180 degrees is called a straight angle. It looks like a straight line. It is one half of a complete angle. And this is the illustration for straight angle. Then we can click the right button, right angle. An angle of 90 degrees is called a right angle. It is 1/4 of a complete angle. If two lines intersect each other, making an angle of 90 degrees, they are said to be perpendicular to each other. And this is the illustration for right angle. Then we can click the acute button. Acute angle, an angle smaller than a right angle, but more than a 0-degree angle is called an acute angle. This is the illustration for acute angle. Then we can go to the obtuse angle. An angle smaller than a straight 180 degrees but greater than a right angle 90 degrees angle is called an obtuse angle. And this is the illustration for obtuse angle. Then the last is reflex angle. Reflex angle is an angle whose measure is greater than 180 degrees and less than 360 degrees. It's called a reflex angle. And this is the illustration for reflex angle. Next is relationship between lines. There are four kinds. The first one, parallel lines, skew lines, intersecting lines, perpendicular lines. Okay, if I click the parallel lines, it will appear explanation about parallel lines. Two lines are if they lie in the same plane and do not intersect. It is called parallel lines. On this building, lines R and S, lines R and S are parallel lines. Then if we click the skew lines, or two lines are if they do not lie in the same plane, it is called skew lines. So skew lines never intersect. Okay, look at the diagram. Line C and B are skew lines. Then if we click the intersecting lines, it will appear explanation about intersecting lines. Two lines are if they cross each other in a plane. It is called intersecting lines. Um, Lines P and Q intersect at point O, which is the point of intersection. Then the last is perpendicular line. Two lines are if they intersect to form a right angle. It is called perpendicular line. Then we go to the next slide. Relationship between angles. There are two types. They are supplementary angles and complementary angles. Okay, I will click the supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are basically two angles, but the sum of them represents a straight angle when the angles are added to each other. Alpha and beta are two angles, and the sum of them forms a straight angle geometrically. And then this is the illustration for supplementary angles. Then we go to the complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles basically, but the sum of them represents a right angle when the angles are added to each other. Alpha and beta are two angles, and the sum of them forms a right angle geometrically. And this is the illustration for complementary angles. Okay, now is about angles in parallel lines. Let us recall the angles associated with parallel lines to verify that the drawn two lines are parallel lines. Consider two lines M and N, which is cut by another line or we call as transversal line, which makes 8 angles intersecting the two lines. Okay, these are button for angle in parallel lines. Then I will click the vertically opposite angle. It will appear explanation about vertically opposite angle. Consider the pair of angles, angle 1 and angle 3, angle 2 and angle 4, angle 5 and angle 7, and angle 6, and angle 8. They are vertically opposite angle. And this is the illustration for vertically opposite angle. Then corresponding angles. Consider the pair of angles, angle 1 and angle 5, angle 2 and angle 6, angle 3 and angle 7, and angle 4 and angle 8. They are corresponding angles. Then this is the illustration for corresponding angles. Okay, now next I will click the alternate interior angles. Consider the pair of angles, angle 1 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 8. They are alternate exterior angles. Okay, then we go to the evaluation. This is the direction before we do the quiz. First, read carefully the questions given. The question consists of 5 objective questions. Choose one answer that is considered correct. Click the answer by clicking right on A, B, C, or D. If you click the answer, you will automatically proceed to the next number. You can rework the question if needed. Okay, I will start by clicking the next button. Uh, this is the question 1. Okay, I will click randomly. Then I get the true two numbers, false 3. Then I get 40 score. Yeah, that's all from me about my Macromedia, my product. The conclusion is my Macromedia is so colorful, so students can interest when they learning. And then my product is so full of illustration, so students can imagine about the material. Then my product have the evaluation, so students know is that they understand about the material or not. And the last is my product is interactive. Yeah, okay, that's all from me. Sorry for any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.